Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Friday, the 2nd of February 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 hit a new intraday high today of 7,703.6 points. With the interest rate sensitive sectors, that's the banks, real estate and technology stocks, doing best on growing expectations that the Reserve Bank will cut rates later this year. By the close, the market was up 1.5% to a record finish of 7,699.4 points. More than 85% of the top 200 ended higher today. For the week, the market was up 2%. Industrial property giant Goodman Group was the standout, jumping more than 6%, while WiseTech Global finished 3.5% higher, and James Hardie ended up nearly 3%. Woolies and Macquarie Group also had strong days, as did all the banks, led by Commonwealth Bank, which jumped 1.5%. Only 2 of the top 50 stocks ended lower: Rio Tinto and BlueScope Steel. Story number 2, the federal opposition is set to vote for the government's proposed tax cuts, with opposition leader Peter Dutton saying he will not stand in the way of lower taxes for Australians. The final go-ahead is expected in meetings of the Coalition Party Room and Shadow Cabinet early next week. Media is reporting that Dutton won't announce a position until legislation is released. Coalition MPs and Shadow Ministers remain torn over how to best respond to the tax changes, which benefit 8 in 9 Australians compared to the already legislated Stage 3 tax cuts. Asked if he'd stand in the way of Labor's tax changes, attacked by the Coalition as a broken election promise, the opposition leader simply said, "I've been very clear that the Liberal Party is the party of lower taxes." Sounds like he's going to support them. Story number 3, the crippling waterfront dispute between the nation's second biggest container operator, DP World, and the Maritime Union of Australia may be about to end after the two parties reached an in-principle agreement over pay and rostering, which will see the wharfies get 23.5% pay deal over 4 years and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. There's currently a backlog of more than 50,000 containers waiting to be either loaded or unloaded at DP World ports in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Fremantle, which the company said will take up to 6 weeks to recover, according to a report in The Australian. Now, after 3 weeks of unofficial talks through the Fair Work Commission, the MUA has agreed to stop protected industrial action that's been shuttering DP World terminals on a rolling basis since October. The new agreement still needs to be voted on by the stevedores, and both parties have agreed not to disclose the terms of the deal until after the vote, which covers the next 4 years. Story number 4, software giant Atlassian halved its quarterly loss in the December 3 months and generated $1 billion of revenue for the first time. It also launched AI across a suite of its products. The Australian headquartered NASDAQ-listed group surpassed 300,000 customers and announced the general availability of AI across its portfolio. The revenue figures were above expectations, but the pace of growth was lower than a year earlier, and Atlassian shares tumbled nearly 9% in after-hours trading. And story number 5, it was a big night on Wall Street with 3 of the Magnificent 7 stocks reporting. Meta's share price jumped 15% in after-hours trading after its revenue for the December quarter was well ahead of expectations. Founder Mark Zuckerberg estimated that more than 3.1 billion people use one of Meta's apps every day. 3.1 billion. Incredible. Amazon also gained as its sales results beat guidance, and Apple shares slipped after it posted a 16% jump in earnings per share on flat sales. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 2nd of February 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.